Maxie, I've been thinking, should we do season 3 on the Dr. Joe show? You sure? You sure it's a good idea? You know, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Dr. Joe Show. I'm Joe, and today we are reviewing the Rey Del Mundo Regional Edition Cuba Infantes. Finally. Should have reviewed it in Season 2, but I couldn't get my hands on any. They made 5,000 boxes of 10, and I couldn't find a single one. Now, that's just insane. Do you have any idea how long it takes for 5,000 boxes of a certain regional edition, any regional edition, to finally sell out? Usually a very long time, believe it or not. It may not sound like a lot of boxes, but it kind of is. Anyway, we finally got our hands on this cigar through the wonderful limited edition Melia Cohiba jar that we discussed in the last Cigar Collectibles episode. You may be actually jumping right over to this review from that episode. If you are, welcome. If you're not, welcome anyway. If you're not, when this is over, go check out that, because one has to do a lot with the other. We will be talking a little bit more about the jar, but mainly we're going to be reviewing the Rey Del Mundo Regional Edition Cuba Infantes. Let's light her up. Wonderful smelling cigar. You know, the wrapper actually reminds me a lot of the Gloria Cubana Deliciosos, as far as being kind of gnarly, very thick. It feels a bit papery. It looks beautiful. It's it has a really nice sheen to it. Beautiful shade of brown, beautiful Colorado, almost a little bit of a reddish tint to it. Really nice looking cigar. Very nice smelling cigar. And in a minute, we're going to see what we get when you give this cigar a pre-draw. That's that. Fairly distinct. Nice level of salt. A little spice kicking in right away. Yeah, a little spice, a little peppery. A little bit of a sour note, but not bitter. A sour note, a nice note. A little on the woody side. And under all that, there's something really odd that I can't put my finger on. It's very unique. Yeah. What is that? There's a very unique note in here. It's like my brain is going a little grassy, not in a bad way. It's almost like some sort of herb or spice. Not like a sweet spice, more like an herb, like a little vegetal. Very, very interesting pre-draw. Plenty of flavor. And as the tobacco moistens, it's getting spicier and spicier. Surprisingly spicy for an Rey Del Mundo on a pre-draw. It's delicious. Delicious pre-draw. Really. I like that. Really nice pre-draw. For time's sake, I'm going to light it, but really, I would just sit here and do some work on the computer and just leave it like this for a minute. Really delicious. Load of flavor. A little bit of coffee coming through. Not even lit yet. I mean, wow. Oh, I forgot to take my matches out. You know me, I always have matches going on. These are actually Davidoff and Swan matches, what I had left in the same box. So let's light her up. Let's light it up. Really glad these came. I've been dying to just try these since they came out and just couldn't get any. People buying them just because they're regional edition Cuba. You like mild cigars? Not at all, but it says regional edition Cuba. The pre-draw, you know, El Rey Del Mundo is a fairly mild blend, but the pre-draw on this really is telling me it's more of a medium, at least. Beautiful, beautiful light. Oh. Spicy. Spicy smoke. Peppery. Woody. Salty. A little bit of a sour note. Nice aroma. Nice woody floral aroma. Let me smoke this for a little bit. Yeah. Wow. It's really good. Really good. You know, like I said, this whole thing online, argument about lower boxes, higher boxes, I don't know, because I got 15 to the jar here, and what a cigar. Now, who knows, when they made these jars, these 100 jars for this event, and I have something to say about that, who knows if they opened a bunch of boxes they had already made and put them in here, or if they did the blend and re-rolled a batch of, what, 1,500 cigars for these jars? Because you have 100 jars, 15 apiece, that's 1,500 more cigars. 1,500 more. Maybe that's why it was so hard to get a box. It wasn't only people buying them. If they used the boxes to fill these jars, that's 1,500. Oh, but that's only 100. It doesn't matter. 150 boxes out of 5,000. So no, scratch that notion. I was thinking off. But yeah, 1,500 cigars. Who knows? Maybe they put them together especially for this jar. Maybe they got them from the boxes. I really don't know. All I know is that this cigar is really good right now. I've been smoking it down a little, and the pre-draw was dynamite. You know, initially, the minute it hit my mouth, the first thing I sensed was a little bit of sourness, but right away, as soon as that tobacco moistened up, you had a nice level of salt. A sour note started mingling with it, tasting really good. A bit of a Barney flavor, woody, spice opening up. On the light, a surprising amount of spice for an El Rey Del Mundo. Completely different, you know, tasting than the Choix de la Pac we reviewed. Much stronger than that. I wouldn't classify this as a mild cigar right now. Medium, at least. And it's a special blend. It's a special blend. I'm sure it's based on the El Rey Del Mundo blend, but it doesn't taste like your standard El Rey Del Mundo. Maybe it has to do with the Robusto format, you know. I have no idea. Cuban tobacco in general, the cigars in general from every brand have seemed a little stronger as of late over the last year. I don't know if anybody else out there has noticed that. A lot of them are appearing darker. A lot of them seem a little more salty than usual. Let me know if you're picking up on this. But the pre-draw was great. Like I said, the light was fantastic. Right away, that spice starts mellowing out, smoothing out. The smoke, I wouldn't say is creamy yet, but it's starting to take on a texture. And there's this underlying note that just seems so unique. And I can't put my finger on it. Like I said, it's like some sort of herb. I can call it vegetal just to like cover a wide range of things. It almost has a hint of like I don't want to sound nuts. It almost has a hint of a celery type flavor. It's very, very unique, and it's very delicious. Smoothed out a lot at this point. You know, we're coming to the end, almost the end of the first third. I'd say another 5 minutes or so 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how heavily I smoke it. Coming to that, the ash is holding. As you can see, this ash, this looks nuts. The burn was a little wonky. I had to be very gentle and very slow with it in the beginning, so as not to develop a crazy burn. But it worked. No touch-ups needed, and just by being gentle with the cigar, it worked itself out. Oh, if you remember, there was a little flaw in the wrap. You could see it right there. There was a little flaw in the wrapper that I licked and patted down. I do that to help the burn. So if it catches and sticks down and you have the burn all around, if it's hanging off and the fire hits it, you know, it may go around the edges real quickly and then start to burn. Just a little trick over the years, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, before we get to the end of the first third and start talking about that, let's talk a little bit about the cigar itself. Kind of unexpected to me, you know, for a long time, and I believe that was, what, 2009, 2010? 2010. The regional edition Cuba, the only regional edition Cuba, was the La Gloria Cubana Deliciosos, which made that jar all the more special. When this came out, that was the end of that. It was no longer the only regional edition Cuba. It will always be the first, obviously, but no longer the only. I talked about this in a different video we did a while back, and I forget which. I was a little pissed off that they made a regional edition Cuba, boxes of 10, 5,000 boxes of 10. You know, do boxes of 25. Do something special. Do 50 cabinets. Do something, you know. Boxes of 10, they're cheap, affordable, and, you know, some people may disagree with me, but a cigar like that, you know, I'm not saying to price it insanely and make it inaccessible to any. In one aspect, I'm glad it was accessible to everyone. On the other side, though, I can't imagine how many boxes of these are just being sat on, which maybe is a good thing, because these obviously have a little age on them, a little more age than a fresh box would have back at that time. So maybe the aging has something to do with how good this cigar is right now. I'm not sure. Typical Robusto format, 4.9 by 50, same as your Partagas D4, same as your Cohiba Robusto, same as your Hoy de Mate Ep34 2, you know, and all the other Robustos out there. Nothing really special about that, except that I love Robustos, and I love El Rey Del Mundo. So to get any El Rey Del Mundo in a Robusto format is a great thing, especially when there are so few Vitolas left to choose from in the regular production line. Regular production line, you have Choix Supreme, and I think there's one more. I forget, not the double Corona, that's gone. Been gone for a long time. The Taino, the El Rey Del Mundo Taino. What the hell is it? It's a smaller cigar. Can't remember it right now. In fact, that's why we have this here now. I can't stop smoking this thing. Excuse me. That's why, well, that's what it's all about, right? That's why we have this here. Let me just quickly look at something. If it will work. Which it's not. Come on, man. Choix Supreme, very close to a Robusto. Corona Extra, 48 by 5 inches. Very, very close. Very, very close. And the Demitas, 30 by 3.9 inches. That's it. That's all there is. And Demitas I hardly ever see anywhere anymore anyway. So you have the Choix Supreme, and that's it. El Rey Del Mundo has had a number of regional edition releases, quite a few, and this one is their latest, being released in 2013. And that's about all there is to say about it. Like I said, 5,000 boxes of 10, Robustos, bingo bango. This was probably not expected by a lot of people. Now, we're going to read a little excerpt from an article about the Melia Cohiba La Casa del Habano. But before we do, I want to show you something very special. Something that was almost thrown right in the trash. Go my little. Back here, I have my drawers, which contain all the reviews I've ever done, all my tasting notes, all my stuff. This was stuffed into the box with the jar. Not really stuffed, right along the side. When I opened the thing and pulled the jar out, that's it. I threw the box to the side. I didn't even bother looking. When I went to grab the box to get rid of it, I saw, all the sides cardboard and then this white going down the edge. The box they made for this, it's like this crappy cardboard box, but it actually has those rope handles, but it's nothing more. I'll show it to you in a minute, actually. I think I left it wrapped up. But anyway, let me show you what's inside. This. And I said, wow, that is so cool. I am so glad that they included this because it really told me more about this entire release, and it's really cool having this with the release. And what it is a certificate of authenticity and ownership. Check that out. That's right, the Dr. Joe Show. Now that's pretty fucking cool. That is pretty cool. Certificado con gran emoción y placer presente. You know what? Here's the thing. I can't speak Spanish very well at all. I'm trying to learn because I have several trips planned in my distant but not so distant future. I have plans for myself. And you all out there can help in so many different ways. But yeah, one day I want to go Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and even Cuba. You want to go to one of those places and really understand what's going on if you visit a factory, or especially if you're doing it with intent to create something, you need to know Spanish. Well, I can understand a little when it's spoken, and I can read it and understand pretty well, but I really have a hard time speaking it. Anyway, basically what this says is, it is with great excitement and pleasure that we present the 10th anniversary of the La Casa del Habano Melia Cohiba. And here it says, Serva este certificado como constancia de propiedad y autenticidad en nombre de, basically that this certificate is proof of authenticity and ownership for the Dr. Joe Show. I'm sure I got one or two of those words wrong, but that's the gist of things. So, amigo y client de la Casa del Habano Melia Cohiba. Friend and client of the La Casa del... Well, that's pretty freaking obvious. And on the bottom, it's signed Ramon. Now, that's signed by hand, and the name under it is one I mentioned before, Ramon Iglesias Centeno. San Ramon Productions. Like I said, an old family friend and family photographer of the Robena family. The creators, Don Alejandro, creator of Vega Robena, Cuban cigars, Habanos. So this is really nice. I'm going to frame this. I swear, this jar, more and more, and because of this, has really become one of my favorites in my entire collection, with all the gold and glitter and like the 20th anniversary Pacific jar with all the dragons and all that great shit. The beautiful black Partagas jar with all of them. They're all gorgeous. The Bolivar China jar, my crown jewel, the Gloria Cubana jar. All great. But this one, there's just something about it. In fact, there is something about it. And I had this feeling. And when I inquired about it, I got the answer that I thought I would get. Yes, it was made in Cuba, making it the only jar to be completely made by hand. I mean, Ceramics 101. I actually took a ceramics course twice and passed the second time. But yeah, Ceramics 1, I'll show you something I made that was supposed to be a jar but didn't turn out quite as such. It ended up being a vase. But anyway, yes, made by hand ceramics, hand potted and glazed, fire glazed, and put in the oven and all that. Decals applied, signed, and then made in Cuba. made in Cuba. No other jar is made in Cuba. Not even the regional edition La Gloria Cubana. No other jar, none, were made in Cuba. They were all made outside, Spain, Germany, China, Hong Kong, different places in Europe, different places in Asia, but none were actually made in Cuba. This one was, and it was made by hand, which makes it very special. And there are only 100 pieces, which makes it even more special. And it comes with this beautiful little certificate. So I'm thinking it represents something to me. It represents a different aspect of the cigar industry, tradition, and the handmade tradition, and rustica, and just a lot of other things. And being that, with this and the Dr. Joe show and all that, I think what we'll do is keep this jar down here. I think I'm going to put it right there, and we'll get a frame for this and put it up. And then next time somebody asks, "You're a doctor, you call yourself Dr. Joe, where's your degree?" Yeah, here's my fucking degree, asshole, okay? Fuck, man. Where's my degree? Give me a break. It's a name, and I didn't call it was an accident, actually. A lot of people know that story. So that's that. I'm going to put this away and continue to smoke our cigar. Let's talk about the first third, and then we will get to that little excerpt I said I would read about the Casa del Habano Melia Cohiba. Stay tuned. Say goodnight, Max.